That's a first. Definitely a first for me. I mean, that's like 3/8 inch steel. I don't know if I felt it clipped something or maybe lack of grease maybe. I don't know, just couldn't have just fell off of there, right? Yeah, so I don't know the details, but you gotta assume that thing got snapped off of there by hitting something, right? I don't know though. So my only concern is if it hit something, did it bend this in the cup, or is this just going to be a stupid video for one little bolt here? Let me clean that up a little bit. There's some grease in there, which is odd. I thought maybe it wasn't grease, but it turns out it's an 1/16" bolt, nut, whatever you want to call it. Let's see if we can get lucky. Negative. Doesn't look like anything's rusted on there, but I knew that was going to happen. It's just going around circles. Now we got to figure out how to stop this shaft from going around in circles and see if, and hopefully that, you know, there's no bearings that are bent or crushed. Because like I said, this had to hit something, right? You can't just fall off of there. Well, I think we're going to have to get the MacGyver playbook out. And underneath, I thought maybe we could just weld the original thing, you know, just tack it to hold the wheel in place. But it's too far up the shaft on the bottom, so that ain't going to work. And it looks like a rubber seal on the bottom. So I don't have an 1/16" wrench, but I do have a big crescent wrench. And my thought is maybe we could just weld a bolt right there in this shaft, right? And then see if we can turn it with a crescent wrench, hold it with another wrench or impact or something. I don't know. We gotta try something, right? Looks like I guess it's a 15. What are the odds? Hey, it turned. Hey. Well, I think that was a nylon lock nut. It's no longer nylon. So I don't have a nylon nut this big. Uh-oh, come on, man. I think it's going to be, oh shit, the weld spilled a little bit in there. Oh, come on now. The weld is, it is a nylon nut. Whoop, she's still hot. Just a little bit into there. Probably should let this cool down. Actually, the heat might help it. Ah! Bonkers! We don't need a bolt. I mean, we got to get a nut anyway, so we're just going to have to get this flat. I might take a cutoff wheel and just zip this under, because there's a piece of weld I can see here that's sticking over that's going to affect the threads. That's why it stopped, right? So I got to get rid of that, or I'll just keep grinding it down to get rid of that. Alright, so I got her ground down to flat again, right? So I think this time what I'm going to do is instead of going with a bolt, just go with a nut, right? Put it right in the center. Just give it a nuclear blast right there in the center. Then I can get 2 things on it. Too much. Too much. Melted a nut. Round 3. Yeah, still messing with it. So I can't get it tall enough to zip it right here, right? It's too, you know, because I don't want to affect this housing, obviously. So my next plan is, because I've done this 3 times now, I can't get a good enough weld bead on, you know, the stem of the wheel stem without affecting the nut, right? It just spills over because, you know, I need to get good penetration. There's only X amount. So my next trick is I'm just going to drill drill a hole, tap it out, and thread a bolt in, right? And then tap the bolt to the, and I'll show you. I need to keep drilling here. What did I just had? Oh no! And then we'll tap it out, right? And then thread a bolt in, and then zap 4 corners to secure it. So otherwise, I don't know what the hell we're going to do next, because this is getting a little lengthy. I thought maybe we could just buzz this off and that'll be that, but nope. She wants to be problematic. Let me get this tab started. Seems about seated. I want to break the tap off from there, and then I'll be in the same boat as I am. Screwed. Right? So now we got some threads. Now we could put a regular bolt in, right? And this way I can, you know, because just flat on flat, it's not doing a trick. I don't know how many times I tried it. Not doing a trick. Let's try to weld that. Oh! Keep stopping. Hard stop. Like it's bottoming out. Try to do it this way. Back up all the way. See if I can clean the threads up. So it's just got a little junk where the threads won't go past the bolt. I'm going to get a manual file and do that because that's pretty solid. I don't feel like it's going to break. You know, a weld's going to feel like it's going to break. I think that thing's pretty solid. So let me weld or file that down, the edges there, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, I can see a lot of burrs. Burrs that are catching a nut on the burrs are catching the nut thread. So just work on this a little bit. I've got enough penetration. Just need a longer wrench. Yeah, I think it's cutting it now. Oh yeah, she's going now. Woo! So it was just a bead of weld stuck in one of the grooves. Obviously we're going to get another nut if this thing doesn't break. If it does, I'll be screwed. Yeah, it's cutting through all the threads on a nut. So let me work on it. It is going up. I can see it. I gotta get a longer reach here. It's got to cut every nut here, every thread on this nut. You know, because I couldn't square it. Couldn't get the weld bead out of there good enough. I think all I need is a little more leverage and we're good. Oh, wow, going the wrong way, stupid. Yeah, this is much easier. It's coming now. Guess I don't know what I would do next if this didn't work. What the hell would you do? Whew. presto, she's out. Friggin' hour later. Now, does it just fall? That's a little warm. Yeah, just a little warm. Let me let that cool. I'm gonna see what's doing with these bearings. Well, I think it's the shaft is bent where it broke off the wheel, because it's not just dropping down, but just tapping on it, I can feel the dust cover of the bearing underneath trying to pop out. So it must have broke off at a little angle. But there we go. She's out. Oh, the dust cover, it actually feels pretty good, so there must have been a burr on here. Wow. I can't believe that thing snapped off clean like that. That is crazy. I'll take it up to the bench and show you. Cray. Looks like it's doesn't even look like it's broke, it just looks like a pin. Alright, so I think we got pretty lucky. So the race in there, you probably can't see, I cleaned a little bit of grease out, but the race is fine, the bearing's fine, everything's fine. And the reason why it wouldn't come out the hole down there, even that made it. I was worried about that, the rubber seal on the bottom. Probably can't see that because there's no light in here, but that's fine too. And the bearing and race, I'm sure, are fine on on the underside. But the reason why I couldn't pull it up or down, look at this. This is like sheared off smooth. There is this piece, and I don't know if you can see this or not. This piece here, it's got the like male and female. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know, like there's a little bit of a rough weld here, and there's a little indentation. But this looks like it was never even, I mean this is, I'm sure it was a solid piece of metal, right? Because it ain't welded here. Anyways, the reason why we couldn't go from the underneath and tack something or weld something here, because this is probably where this is where the bearing sits. Bearing here and bearing here, right? Both places. So it was way up in there, and this is probably where the rubber seal is down here. So I couldn't, get up there, and it would have ruined the seal for sure. Here, we can go this way, right? This is where the bearing sits on the at the top side. We could slide it down, but you can't come off this way. It won't fit in because there's a burr, or not a burr, but a little lip where this probably was walking back and forth until it broke. But that's why we couldn't pull it up or push it down. And I thought that the rubber seal was coming out. It's just because the shaft has a minute, because this tolerance is pretty tight, right, for a bearing. Oh, look at there. So it actually came with the bottom seal. The other one, I was just inspecting it. It looks good. I don't think I'm going to replace it, but I'll look a little closer when I go to put it on. So that's it. Model number 116 quadruple 8 caster kit red, in case you're in a pickle. Yeah, so I guess now's the time to find out if this thing works or not. It'd be easy to replace it right now. It doesn't. Let's see. Oh yeah, no problem. She takes grease. Okay, so my next move, if that didn't work out, which it did, but in hindsight I should have done first, because I've done it before with a mule gear or with a pulley on the top. Same idea. You couldn't do nothing. You couldn't get the nut off the pulley. It just kept spinning. Whatever broke inside, the other pulley broke off. I ended up taking a drill and just drilling it through the housing into the shaft of the pulley system, right? And then just stuck a lower sized bolt into both holes, and that way you can zap the thing off. A little pre-grease. All right. size that is. Let me go get a socket. Yeah, that's odd. Either I don't remember right, or the original, I think the original nut was 1 1/16". I think I said. This is 1 3/16". So let's hope the dust cap fits back on. 1 3/16". Forward. Yep. As long as there's no play, that's what the torque is. So let's see. Let's see if we can pump some of the grease in here. Put the wheel on. Call this a fix. Plenty of grease in there. Plenty of grease in there. All right, so let's just grease this up so it don't rust right away, right? Although the other one wasn't rusted. I'm still greasing this cap. Does it fit? There we go. Let's put the wheel on. Call this thing fixed. It's so goddamn muggy. The camera keeps fogging up on the inside lens. You can't wipe it off, so I had to put the camera in the fridge. I guess it's time for a new camera. Where's my wrench? So I took this off the old wheel. So you don't want play, right? There's too much play in there. I took it off the old fork, and the fork kind of spread out. So these get clamped right down because there's bearings. There's bearings in there too, in the wheel. They're ungreasable, but and then there's these cups that, well, if you're doing yours, you can see it, but so it just gets tightened right down. It's a 19 now. There you have it. One wheel fixed. You guys gonna be happy, but it's too goddamn, in my opinion, muggy and hot to be mowing lawns right now. It's like 100 degrees. Anyways, so that's an easy fix if you can. You know, if it was just like that, and you know your zerk or something was rusted, maybe the pin was rusted, and you need a new fork assembly, it would be no problem with the fork on there, right? Just zap that bolt off, place it, you know, easy peasy. Now bearings, replacing them would be a whole different story, especially if you got to get into races, you know, replacing the races and seals and everything like that. But we got lucky with the bearings are fine, everything's fine. It was just a snapped stem, which made it problematic. Obviously, we got it done, but that's all I got, man. That was kind of an easy fix, and you know, in the reality of things, it wasn't that hard. But anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. See you next time.